Garlic. I absolutely hate the Wheel of Time. Alright, now I know that some people love the Wheel of Time and will defend it tirelessly. But, come on. Alright. Now, I know that some people have already said a lot of the things that I'm going to say, but still, it's bugging me. Alright? It's bugging me. Because, okay, I haven't read much of it. I've read a bit. And I know what everyone's gonna say. Oh, well, it really changes and does its own thing after you get past the third book or whatever, something like that. But I'm just thinking, 3 books you gotta go through derivative BS to get to the stuff that's actually original? That sounds ridiculous to me. Alright? So basically the problem is, I think at least the first, the prologue is borderline plagiarism for The Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah, you got the Mountains of Mist and the Third Age and the obviously trying to sound elvish names that you throw in there. And yeah, Mountains of Mists, the Third Age, really? You come up with that all on your own, did you? Huh? It must have been difficult. But stuff like that, it's ridiculous. I mean, there is taking inspiration, and then there's just straight up ripping off, okay? And that's what Wheel of Time does. At least in the beginning part, that everyone says, oh no, you gotta get past that part to get to the stuff where it actually changes into a different story or whatever. It actually stops being a rip-off of Lord of the Rings. I don't like that it feels the need that it has to rip it off so hard at the beginning to actually get people interested in the story. Why else was it done? Just to say, oh, this is like Lord of the Rings, but I put my own spin on it later or something? I don't know, it's annoying. Another thing I dislike about Wheel of Time is the magic system. I greatly dislike the trope of the gendered or gender-specific magic systems. I think it's dumb because it always leads to the same type of tired, worn-out storytelling and drama and all that sort of stuff, where you get one side of it, either male or female, feeling superior and constantly needing to remind the other that they're the ones with the magic and they're not, whatever, or they think that their version of the magic is better than the others, or vice versa. And it's just so played out and boring and tired, and it's just not good. Alright, we can do better. Magic. We can do better. Another thing is the main character. I heard once that the author's goal, or one of the questions that he had in mind when he was writing it was why wasn't the reluctant protagonist, chosen one, more reluctant? I was really confused about that because maybe it's because in most other stories with a reluctant chosen one protagonist, they actually have just a smidgen of honor or purpose or duty that they feel they need to do it, even if they want to or not. So maybe that's why the reluctant protagonist isn't more reluctant. So, and also, everybody says it, the main character is just a block of wood. Alright? And one of the main things that is said about the character is a audience insert character. And I gotta say, I hate audience insert, reader insert characters. so much because they always end up being the most bland, boring, like uninteresting person imaginable, and that's somehow supposed to be relatable or something. Who wants to have a character that is so bland and boring that anyone can relate to them, as opposed to a character that maybe some people don't necessarily relate to but still find interesting, and some people relate to like very deeply, you know? I would rather have a character that some people relate to like a lot, and then other people don't really relate to, but it's like an interesting character, rather than having a just block of wood character who's so uninteresting that anyone can relate to on some basic, flimsy level. Like, I don't know, maybe that trope is like falling by the wayside or something, and it just hadn't by the time that stuff was written. But still, I don't know. I don't like it. Also, I'm really tired of the whole farm boy chosen one trope. It's so generic and worn out. I'm kind of over the whole chosen one thing, just because it takes away a lot of tension for your main character, your chosen one, because you're like, yeah, well, of course the main character, who is supposed to be this prophesied chosen one, is gonna win and defeat evil in the end and survive, and you know, whatever, until at least survive until the right point, where, you know, evil is defeated, or to a point to where evil can be defeated if they die. Now I'm talking generally, not necessarily about Wheel of Time, but like just in general, I think it takes away a lot of tension, and I greatly dislike that trope. I mean, it had its place, I guess. It's a great idea, but I think it's really worn out by now. Also, I don't like how kind of the chosen one, like, ooh, farm boy, but he's actually, you know, descended from the king, and he's, you know, he's secretly a prince or whatever. Just that whole chosen one secret lineage type of idea. I don't like that idea, just because, and here again, I'm not necessarily just talking about Wheel of Time here anymore, but that whole secret lineage, farm boy chosen one protagonist, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way, just because it seems to promote kind of a message of like, you're only special if you're born special, and I don't like that mentality or that idea. I think that anyone can be able to, you know, rise to an occasion. I think that, like, you don't need to have a great lineage or a prophecy about you to do something good in the world. And I think in interfiction, we should have less of that. It also, like, taking away that sort of deal creates a lot more tension. So if you have a like chosen one protagonist, that automatically, and you see it in stories that don't have a chosen one quote unquote protagonist, you see it immediately. There's automatically, people have more, like, they're more invested and they're gripped by the story because it's a lot more unknown. It immediately adds more stakes, you know. And some stories that don't have the chosen one thing, they'll just kill off a character that you thought was going to last for, you know, a long time, and it really grips the reader. And now I'm not saying it's good to have shock value, to just kill off characters for shock value. That's another thing I don't like. It's got to mean something, right? It's got to mean something. But anyway, still. And going back to Wheel of Time, there's like 3 or arguably more books in the middle that are widely considered to be filler. And that seems ridiculous. I can't imagine trying to slog through 3 books of filler. Now, maybe they're not, of course, granted, but still, if there's a wide, you know, part of the community that says that there are, then, you know, maybe they're a little slow. And don't get me wrong, I like stories that are, slow to a point. Like, take their time to build things up and take their time to travel from one place to another. I like that. I don't like where people just like fast travel all over the world, and everything's just happening all at once. And because none of it's earned if you do that. But if you're taking multiple books to get somewhere or do something, that then there's nothing else going on, then that's a bit of an issue. That's a big issue, actually. There are just little things like that, the obvious like Tolkien ripoffs and the annoying gendered magic system and the chosen one trope and all that just thrown in, and it just creates such a bubble of all the things that I dislike in fiction and in fantasy fiction. And it just bugs me so much. Maybe it's just the way that some people praise it like it's the best thing ever written. Um, but still, it just makes me mad. It makes me mad. That story, that book series, it just bugs me. All right, it bugs me so much, and I can't quite put into words why exactly, other than what I've said, other than those things. But those things could be like, I don't know, on their own overlooked sometimes, but like, just, I think the fact that they're all here together in one thing and it's like pretending to be the best thing ever written, that it bugs me. Yeah.
Hey, future me here. I just remembered I forgot to include yet another reason why I hate the Wheel of Time, and it's that stupid Mickey Mouse looking logo that they came up with for it. It's so, like, I don't know, it's so confused, I guess, and so convoluted. It's like a snake and a wheel. It's like the snake is in an infinity symbol and the wheel is just a wheel. I don't know. Just pick one or the other, but don't mesh it together. I don't know. It's just, I think it looks far too busy and it's just ridiculous and it looks like Mickey Mouse. So, anyway, that's it.
So yeah, greatly dislike, hate the Wheel of Time, and yeah, I know people are gonna be mad at that, but I don't care because it's true. And even though fiction is subjective, those books are annoying. Yep, annoying to me. That's what I had to say. I wanted to say at least something about how much I despise Wheel of Time, or else I thought my head was going to explode at some point. So I'm glad I was able to relieve that pressure there in my head, and let some of the steam out, so to speak. But anyway, that's all. I guess stay tuned for more videos if you want, and also garlic. It'll be right here, I think. Hopefully, garlic.